Shalom, everyone, and welcome to Hanukkah Hotties with JQD Vancouver and Tribe 12. My name is Carmel Tanaka, and I am the founder and executive director of JQD Vancouver, a Jewish, queer, and trans nonprofit dedicated to queering Jewish space and Jewifying queer space in Vancouver, BC, Canada, on the ancestral and unceded territory of the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh. Hijka. For Hanukkah this year, we have the honor of partnering with Dominika Nemtsau, the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Associate over at Tribe 12, a Jewish nonprofit whose LGBTQIA+ programming is for anyone who wants to explore the intersectionality of Jewish and queer identities in Philadelphia, the United States, whose lands are cared for by the Lenni Lenape people, specifically of the Turtle Clan. If you do not know on which land you live, work, and play on, please check out native-land.ca. For each day of this wonderful holiday of Hanukkah, we have a Hanukkah Hottie joining us to light their Hanukkah, or perhaps share a new tradition or two and chit-chat about the wonderful things they do in life for the duration of the candles burning. Joining us for Candle 2 is the one and only Stuart B Meyers. Inspired by the overlap in his queer and Jewish identities, Stuart B Meyers creates shape-shifting, time-defying performance works which crack open perspectives, awakening audiences to their bodies and spirits. You can find his full bio at www.stuartbmeyers.com or even on Instagram. Also, social handle media is at Stuart B Meyers. Tuning in all the way from New Jersey, but can be found in New York City, this Brooklyn queen. Let's bring on Stuart. Hang on, let's do that.
Bam, 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 bam.
Welcome.
Yes.
I can't believe this is happening.
Oh my God.
I'm such a fan.
We're Hanukkah Hotties.
I know. Oh, how are you?
I'm good. I'm in New Jersey, as you just announced to the whole entire world. And my address is no, just kidding. Calm.
You know, I've been to New Jersey.
Where in New Jersey were you?
That I don't remember, but I do remember.
Well, it's not that big of a state, okay?
Oh, so fabulous.
Yeah, but I'm from South Jersey near Philadelphia. And yeah, it's been really beautiful, especially for Hanukkah, being here with my parents. I'm an only child, and so there's only 3 of us in the house, thank God. Not because having other people would be bad, but just because we're all okay during this time. And lighting the candles with them has been really special because we all are like gathering around the Hanukkah like when I was little. And yesterday when we lit the first candle, I was just like, I felt really moved to hold my mom and dad in this, in this embrace, and just like, and this is what this tradition is about, being with loved ones, being able to recognize the miracle that is like right in front of us, may always be in front of us, or maybe here just for this moment,
That's so beautiful. I'm so happy you get to have this time with your family. So many of us are separated at this time, so that's a real blessing.
Yes.
Why don't we get these candles lit?
Yes, girl. I've been waiting this whole week.
So listen, just for everyone tuning in, we had like a little bit of a minor crisis before tuning in here. We didn't know, like, because it's also Shabbos, which one goes first. Is it the Shabbos candles or it is the Hanukkah candles? But we just got confirmed from a rabbi, a source that I'm going to read, which I think is quite funny. Hanukkah first. Traditionally, once you light Shabbos candles, you don't kindle any more flame. Oh, I just got a message from someone that whether or not we are live. I'm not seeing it. Yes, we most definitely are. Let me just double check that. We're definitely live.
Hello, live.
Oh, you know what? There's people who are saying they're tuning in from New Jersey. I've got a flame. I mean, like, why don't people say something in the chat if it's going well? And if not, you're live. There we go. People are saying it's all good.
Cool, if we look cute, then it's working.
I love it. You know
if
what?
we don't look cute, then we'll just start over.
You know what's really funny is we have 7 or 8 days to make this work and to perfect it. So I'm super into it if there's mistakes. I mean, everyone is having mistakes these days.
Oh, and of course, I'm day 2, so all of the mistakes happen on day 2. Just kidding. Second is the best, remember?
Oh, right. First the worst, second the best, third the golden bird.
Oh, that is the Canadian thing because we say third is the one with the hairy chest.
What?
Which I know nothing about.
Oh my gosh.
I'm not showing you much. Anyway, let's light those candles.
Let's do it. Okay. There we go. Let me also.
All right. So we're doing Hanukkah first, right?
We're doing the Hanukkah ones first because.
Okay, cute.
Okay. Oh, and by request, this is going to be the feminine version of.
That was my request. Yeah. Just so we're all clear.
Let's do this.
I feel like you're my family right now.
Oh, you're my family right now. My family's on the North Shore. Like, we're far away from one another. But I was just there today. They were saving my tuchus again. So I could have a clear connection to everyone because my video was lagging the other day. So here we go. Brucha atya Eloteinu ruach haolam asher kitshatnu b'mitzvoteha v'tzivatnu leadlik ner shel Hanukkah. Brucha atya Eloteinu ruach haolam she'asta nisim le'imotenu bayomim hahem bazman hazeh. Amen.
Amen. Beautiful.
Your turn for the Shabbos candles, my love.
I'm here for it. I'm going to give a good little song. I'm going to do all of my Yiddish mama work. All right?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm ready for the tears.
My Yiddish mama transmission. All right. You ready to light the candles?
Oh, I sure am.
All right. Let's go for it. Brucha at Shechina Eloteinu ruach haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lecha likner Shel Shabbat.
I feel like we've created sacred space.
So it's really beautiful for me because it's been a long time. Not a long, like I maybe did this like, I don't always do the Shabbos prayer. I know this is about Hanukkah, but I'm going to talk about Shabbos and then I'm going to go into something else. I don't do Shabbos candles every week. Probably do it like once to twice a month. And like the last time was like 3 weeks ago. Okay. I have been recently taking this voice workshop with the Israeli singer and vocal artist, Victoria Hana. If you know her work.
Wait, is she the Ethiopian? No.
I don't think she's Ethiopian, but I could be wrong. She's definitely, I'm pretty sure.
Was she Israel? Like the Israeli Star was Born contestant?
No, but okay, I love that. Okay. You need to look at her work. She is amazing. It's Victoria Hana. Hopefully I'm saying it wrong. And the workshop is so beautiful because we're going through the Hebrew alphabet and all of its associations, all of its vibrations in the body, what it actually means, what is the different, like what the differences are between, for example, like ah, which is so open, the ah of the aleph, the ah of like the forever and ever, versus like the b, 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 sounds ridiculous, but the bet, which is, it pops into life and aliveness. It's like, it's a cut, but a cut to move forward. And just like feeling all of these, the strength and the power of really investigating and exploring the voice in this way. And it was very different for me tonight, after having done this work for maybe like a month, to really feel in my body how these prayers resonate, and what the internal movements are and what it does to the space, and to concentrate on that rather than, oh, I hope I sound good, I'm on Facebook Live, like, but rather to be like, wow, like, how do I enjoy this? How do I taste what I'm saying? How does this reveal something about the nature of our world and how the universe works, and like why we have a body?
That's so wonderful and deep, and there's so much meaning that can come from Hebrew in general, and I know that you're a follower of Kabbalah, and that's all about finding more meaning under the words. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about how you're combining all of your wonderful interests through a Kabbalistic lens?
Through a Kabbalistic lens. Yes, absolutely. Well, it's interesting you say, you were like, you're a follower of Kabbalah, and I was like, because there's so much, it's such I was like, Madonna. Oh my God. And apparently Sandra Bernhard was studying Kabbalah in the 90s.
I mean, like, everyone.
I know, everybody.
It's super trendy.
Yeah, and it really was trendy there. And somehow I can feel, it's so interesting to like have been born in the 90s. I hope that's okay to reveal about myself, instead of being born in the 2000s. But anyway, I know you were all thinking I'm like 20 years old. The point is that it's interesting because, and I'm totally extrapolating here, I don't like, there's no proof to what I'm talking about, but feels like the 90s for me in some way were this really like bright, like time to celebrate uniqueness, to celebrate, it was like, I don't know, there was something in the air that was charged, that people were trying to like break out. It felt like the 2000s were coming and everybody was really excited, and they like saw this ascension that would become, and then it kind of like died, or rather it just like didn't work, and it was all kind of like not grounded.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel that maybe, and again, maybe this is just like my personal experience. I mean, of course it's my personal experience, but it feels like there's something really interesting happening now, where I think what was being explored at that time, this kind of like Kabbalah craze, for example, is actually like finding foundation, is finding like its footing in something that's like real and embodied, and is not trying to travel off, but it's like actually committed to like, oh, I'm here, and like there's a reason I'm here, and like being in the world and not kind of like going out of my body is like the thing that I'm here to pursue. So all that to say, like a lot of my personal work around Kabbalism is that I do work with healing imagery and through dreams.
Do tell us more.
Yes, absolutely. So I study with a woman named Bonnie Buckner and Catherine Shaneberg, who runs the School of Images in New York. And through that work, we look into the body through the imaginal, which you could say is the right brain, is like the creative space. You close your eyes and it is like it is a vastness that nothing can compare to. And we travel into the vastness to repair ourselves, to repair the world, this work of tikkun olam, this work of starting within. And by working within, there's a huge shift that starts to occur in the world that we see and that we live, this kind of like more physical, concrete world. And dreaming, for example, is one of the best ways to get in touch with that field, if you will.
So how does that work? How does dreaming work?
So exactly. So I'm going about my day. I have an interaction with you, and maybe something's triggered in that interaction. But during my like waking hours, I'm like, oh yeah, it was fine. Everything's cool. I'm good. Like, shake it off. Awesome. Amazing. Then I go to sleep and a slew of images come to me in code to tell me what really came up in our conversation.
But that means you have to remember
Correct.
what you dreamed, because I have an issue where I rarely remember what I dream.
Oh, girl, this is easy. You ready?
Yes.
There are two things that you can do that will help. One, before you go to bed, you're so excited. Yeah. Do you have your notes? Are you writing down? Yes. Amazing. Amazing. The first thing that you can do is that you can write down before you go to sleep the intention, tonight, I will remember my dreams.
What does that?
That's it. You set the intention until it starts coming to you.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the first part. This is not quite the second, but going further, well, the second intention is that if you imagine a red ball of light at the thyroid, a red ball of light, we have no idea what it works. It's actually Tibetan though.
I'm surprised. I'm not surprised that it's red, because like there's the red thread, there's this. Is red just, I guess it's a powerful color.
In this case, I don't specifically know. However, if you imagine a red ball of light, it helps you remember your dreams. I am more practiced in the former, where I write down, tonight I will remember my dreams. Then, if you really want to get crystal clear on what you dreamed, as soon as you wake up, whether that be at 5 a.m. or like 10 a.m. or 12 p.m., that's for whatever. I was going to say that's for North American time, because they don't have AM and PM in Europe. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The point is, whenever you wake up, you first wake up, you write down everything, every detail that you remember from your dream, and you write it in the present tense because you're still living it. A part of you is still in the dream. And so you write down everything you remembered, every color you saw, girl, like my dreams are long usually.
I can't wait to do this, because I know that there's some movie action going on there, also slightly twisted like everybody else, but I just want to know what it is. I would like to get the gist of it so that I can put it into my creative work at some point. It would be wonderful to remember.
I mean, it was amazing. I got an idea for a play the other night when I was dreaming, but I'm getting much closer to my dreaming. And the thing is that when you start to be able to see inside, you're seeing how you really feel, and you're seeing all the things that might have been buried. Like, we bury so much in our lives and we go like this, and then in our dreams, pop. Right, and that's when we have this slew of images.
So how would you say are your Jewish and queer identities getting into this practice? Like, how are you weaving those in?
Right. So for me, a part of this whole practice of reading dreams, well, reading dreams is reading Torah. It's the same. It's literally the same. So when you read Torah, you're going through the Pardes method. So you're looking at the Peshat, the story, the Remez, I just said that like I was Spanish, the Remez, however you say it, are the repetitions, the patterns, the numbers, the colors that appear, the names, all the plays on words. Then you have the Drash, which is what it actually all means. Like what is the opening of the dream, which And my opening of a dream, how I see a dream, how I find that drash is going to be very different than how you do, which is why very often in this work, we're in community opening dreams. So there are several people opening a dream for someone at once. That's like a dream group, which I have. And then lastly, you move to the layer of the sod, the level of the sod, which is the mystery, because you have no idea how life is going to unfold once you've opened the dream. And very often what you can do is you can create a repair. So for example, if I have a dream that I'm falling, that's my repetitive dream, that's my nightmare, and I think I'm going to die, I can go back into the dream and I can see that I fall into a beautiful garden and like I have a soft landing and everything around me is growing, is blossoming. I have a beautiful tree that I can sit by and breathe with, so that I feel like I feel my life force and my my up and downness, you know, my rooting and also my growth. So you can repair your dreams. And then
I'm super into that.
Yeah.
You just said about falling. So when I was a child, I watched a Japanese animation film. What was it called? I think Nemo or Nightmare's Kingdom or something like that. And essentially he's in the bed and he's falling. And that is something that I remember as a kid falling for the first time in my bed. And it was super terrifying. So it's nice to know that there's a way to repair that. I wanted to segue into you as a performing artist of various different amazing things. And I definitely stalked you on your Instagram and on your website to learn about you. And I discovered that you have a lovely character named Yenta. And you tour with this character. It's called the Shabbos Queen. And I would love for you to tell us more about this queer Shabbat Extravaganza.
Yeah, so they're two different works actually. Yenta is her own entity that does her own thing, and which I can talk about in a moment. And then there's Shabbos Queen, where I basically do Shabbos Queen as me. I mean, they're both me, right?
Love it.
But Shabbos Queen is like, here, what do I want to talk about first? I'll talk about Yenta first because I feel like it's a clear transition from what I was just talking about. And the thing is that all of the work that I'm talking about with dreams, with imagery, also studying tarot, etc., I'm learning how the universe works. And like, I'm learning how relationship works. Relationship to self, relationship with other, you know, how to go from a world of oneness to a world of duality. You know, it's a bit woo-woo, but once you see a one, you're already out of the one. Does that make any sense to you?
It totally makes sense to me. And also you're not the only Jewish around, you know, like there's a lot of people who are exploring all the different practices out there and merging them and have various different traditions, especially in the Jewish queer community. A lot of us are practicing other things, are from mixed families, and you know, I mean, you do you, girl. I'm so into it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I am not alone in this journey and in all the ways. But Yenta is really interesting, to go back to the question. Yenta is really interesting because
best character in Fiddler on the Roof.
Well, that's what's interesting, is that I was like, I was in a relationship that I wasn't super happy in. No, scratch that. I wanted a relationship. And I was like, I want to find a boyfriend. How do I find a boyfriend? And I was like, oh, well, I guess I have to learn. I was like, I like Jewish teachings, so why don't I study Jewish teachings to find a boyfriend and see like what Jews have to say about relationships? And then
how was that for you?
A process. First, I listened to a bunch of like Orthodox men from Muncie. And I was like, okay. Like, I have to like him, but not too much. And he's got to be like this. And he's got to have his shit together. And he's got to be like this. And I had a whole list of things that I developed from this. And then I found a boyfriend. And I was like, okay, great. Like, I figured it all out. Awesome. Love of my life.
Mazel tov.
Mazel tov. And then I found myself in a pretty like unhealthy situation for myself within this relationship. It wasn't the relationship for me, and a lot of it was a reflection of how I wasn't valuing myself. And so I ended that relationship, which was very freeing for me and very good for me, and I'm sure in a lot of ways good for the person that I was in the relationship with. And once I did, that was the summer that I went to the Romamu Yeshiva, and like every morning, do you know about Romamu Yeshiva?
No, do tell.
Oh, it's the first contemplative and mindfulness-based yeshiva program in all the world, in New York City, through the congregation Romamu.
Okay.
You have to check it out.
I will.
It might not be for you, but you should check it out. And for anybody listening, I loved it immensely. And like every morning we were singing, and all of it was really about coming home to self. And so after that experience, I was like, oh my God, like this is not about a list or like what I think I should want or this, whatever these dudes from Muncie, no offense to Muncie, were saying. It's like really about like, girl, you got to live your own life and you got to love yourself. How the hell are you going to love somebody? Wait, how the hell can you love yourself? Wait, how the hell can you love somebody else if you can't love yourself? Is that what it is, girl?
I mean, you're close. I think we all get the gist, but I think it is how can you love someone if you can't love yourself?
Yeah. I was trying to be a RuPaul queen, but I failed right there. Damn.
It's true though.
And so basically then Yenta was reborn to really, at first she had a whole backstory. She was like a Jewish mother from, New Jersey. And then I was like, no, this queen is a descendant from Hashem herself, is totally coming, like is a divine transmission. She's an angel. And she just is like this force of love, and this force of love to teach folks or to create space where folks can learn how to love themselves so that then they can love somebody else. And basically, she is a container through which I can like translate all the things that I have learned through something that's pop cultural, which we know from Fiddler on the Roof, but that is totally turned on its head. Because suddenly we have this mask, this like very, loud and boisterous character, which is nothing at all like me.
Not at all.
Not at all. But this character is like a very, offers people a safe access point to themselves, She's like the clown therapist, she's a sacred clown. Mm-hmm. And so
there's power in that.
So much. Mm-hmm. She's really able to she's able to translate like deeper teachings from our tradition, but like in a way that's funny and light. And then of course not of course, but I think simultaneously very deep, So
you bring her into your Shabbos Queen?
No, not at all. They're like
separate.
But they're not, but they are. Okay. So Yenta has her own show and she does other things and she tours by herself and she talks to people online, et cetera, et cetera.
Well, I look forward to meeting her one day.
Oh my God. You have to meet her. You'll love her so much. Oh my gosh. She's like me, but my mom. She's her own thing. She's her own thing. And Shabbos Queen, Shabbos Queen is a queer DIY and dreamy Shabbat dinner delight and extravaganza.
I mean, like, what more do you want in life?
That's my lovely elevator pitch.
I'm super into it.
It's like practiced over like 3 years at this point. But anyway, it's an immersive ritual and 5-course dinner party in which I am bringing folks from all different walks of life, but especially queer Jewish folks together to truly celebrate the beautiful mingling of queer Jewish identity and to really rest in a container for togetherness.
I'm already just thinking of a post-COVID world of when I can bring you here so we can actually have this dinner.
I mean, duh, of course I'm coming.
Well, it sounds like this would be your 3rd time. You've already been here.
Oh, that's true. My 3rd time to Vancouver. That's right. But this will obviously be the best time because I'm going to be spending it with you.
As an adult. I mean, that experience will be quite different. I mean, like a ski vacation in Whistler is a little bit different than leading a wonderful Shabbos with Jewish queer people.
Totally, totally. And I mean, this is the vision for Shabbos Queen, is that when I first dreamed it up, I mean, it's interesting because my first dream was really to like build my own community, but it's really actually been like, I kind of come in like a little fairy and I am invited into other communities. And like, I kind of am like this, I'm like a hostess and I create this space where people have a taste of what they can create themselves if they just like chill out, come together, light some candles, like have a nice meal with some real cute music.
Cute
And
similar,
what'd you say?
Cute people.
Cute people. Oh my God. And bring together cute people, of course. But you know, it's similar. This is kind of always my technology for how I work. Just like Yenta is like teaching deep things through a kind of pop cultural lens, it's the same thing with Shabbos Queen. Like for example, my little intro dance, which is like coming from continuum movement, which is like this very somatic, movement exploration that was basically, what am I trying to say? Was donned, if you will, by Emily Conrad, God rest her soul, beautiful woman. But regardless, I have this kind of like experimental dance, if you will, to Madonna's Deeper and Deeper.
Oh.
That's like my intro. And then I bring people into a circle. And then later I do a Shalom Aleichem remix where I put Shalom Aleichem with Madonna and Björk's Bedtime Story.
Oh, no way. That's so epic. I love it.
And I sing it a cappella. And then later my whole dinner has like a 90s love soundtrack. I've got like Sade galore. Oh, it's not only 90s. There's also like some music from the 2000s. So you have like Her, if you've ever heard of this artist. Oh yeah, it's so cute. Yeah. She's the best. I have like what's it called? Who does Sound and Color and Give Me All Your Love? Ooh, who is that? I'm
really bad at this game.
Me too. Anyway, I have a beautiful playlist, and like, I look queer as hell, queer as heaven.
Yes.
And what's really powerful about that is, I made this piece at a really important time in my journey as like really feeling safe, to be queer and Jewish, but also feeling like I could take agency over like holding space for others to feel safe to be exactly who they are, even in a time where I didn't necessarily feel so confident in that. So in a big way, the evening was created from a space of like, I don't completely know. I am not halachically correct, but I'm trying, you know, like I'm not trying to be halachic. I'm trying to really like to celebrate what's so beautiful about what it means to be both queer and Jewish, and to be fine with the fact that like I grew up in the reform movement, and like I'm not as Jewish as other people, and that my education is subpar, you know, that is fine, and that should not stop anyone from really like feeling that they have as much a right to study this, to be a part of this, to be themselves as anyone else.
Yeah, I feel like this is something that comes up a lot in our community, is especially those who might say have a father who's Jewish and a mom who isn't, and therefore aren't halachically considered Jewish, or weren't raised in the traditions, whether they practice Reconstructionist, renewal, reform, Orthodox, conservative, you know, the whole works, that if you aren't Jewish enough, there's already automatically this apology, being like, sorry, I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to light the candles. Not that there's any pressure to, but to be able to have a safe space to be able to learn these things, if you do want to learn what your ancestors used to do for forever and ever and always. And I feel like this is a question that we all struggle with, is like, what does it mean to be Jewish? Doesn't necessarily mean someone who is a practicing Jew. There's so many ways to be Jewish and to express oneself, and I feel it's so important at JQT for people to be able to express that and navigate that and explore that, however that looks for them. You know, if you want a more secular program, there's secular programming here for you. If you want to explore the spirituality of that, go for it. Be my guest. And it's a hard balance, because not everyone wants to have that together, right? So yeah.
I feel a lot of people are hungering, and I don't think this is anything new. I think that a lot of people are hungering for the depth and the deeper experience. And I don't yet feel that there are enough spaces where the secular, or that which we know and we more often see, can really dance with that which is like so profoundly deep and poetic within our culture. And so I feel like that's exactly where I situate my work, is to really bring the two together so that anyone can feel that they have a key to come into the door of themselves, of like the space that is their shul, which is their community, you know? And like, yeah, I think it's really,
but not everyone has like access to that, to be able to create that space for themselves. And there's so
absolutely
many gatekeepers to
correct.
Jewish institutions,
Correct.
or you just don't fit in because you don't already know something.
And so many Jewish institutions don't care. And the
Mm-hmm.
people who are at the heads don't see. And they don't understand, not to like poo-poo folks who work in Jewish institution. I mean, I've been blessed to work with some incredible people like Divinica, for example, to be talking to you, who love you, Divinica. And to be talking to you, who is navigating that space and so gorgeously.
Well, we've actually had to remove ourselves entirely.
Right.
We are not in Jewish institution world.
Right.
We are not in queer world, because we're
Right.
having to navigate literally our wars
Yeah.
on both sides, I feel, because we don't fit into one category. So we
And
created this space that is safe for us, and we're holding on to it very strong. And we do want to partner. We do want to build bridges. We want to be able to hold these conversations, and it's just a matter of time. I know it's happening. As
time,
Divinica was saying
time.
just yesterday, you know, there's so few Jewish queer professionals working and trying to make change from within our community, that we do need to stick together. And again, I know I'm repeating myself from yesterday, but the silver lining of COVID is being able to meet people who are doing very similar work, of course, through various different beautiful medium, but to be able to collaborate and support one another. It blows my mind that I didn't have this before. The fact that we're even on a call right now, just,
I know.
Right?
Yeah, it's beautiful. And you're right in the sense that it's like, it's also a shanda, you know, it's a sin.
Mm-hmm.
And like, and this has such a beautiful relationship to Hanukkah as well, because it's like, you know, there's only something that I've been thinking about with the holiday is that there's only enough light, or there's only enough oil rather. There's only enough energy to like get through one night. It's like, there's like, I can't get through it. I can't get through it. I can't do it. It's not going to happen. Like, no one is here. No one sees me. No one sees the vision. No one sees where we need to go. And yet it's like, okay, if I have the oil, I have the energy to get through this one night, to like push through just a little bit more, what could happen? And that is the miracle. It's like, okay, if I keep moving and I keep just like deepening and like I keep doing my work, in whatever its time is, it will unfold into the miracle that survives for more fire, for fire that begets fire that begets fire, until you have all of the oil that you need, and like you have the eternal flame, and it just keeps going. I mean, this happens in the microcosm of like little things. I mean, I'm not going to say the candles are little, but it's in the microcosm of what happens.
I mean, they're getting little.
I know. Which makes me so sad because I want to talk to you forever.
I mean, I think we're going to be friends for life. This is already, it's happening.
I know. But like, you know, there have been ways in which I've been like, okay, no, like I'm not at like, there's a level to which I'm not going to pour all of my heart into this anymore, because A, it's not all of who I am, and B, because I don't want to keep going like this to the no doors. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to find my way this way. And it's hilarious because during this pandemic, like before the pandemic, I was like, I just hitting walls and just being like, I was just like, no. And then I was
gave
like,
me the permission to no longer have to go the roots and fight against the system. You know, the oil that you described right now reminds me of the metaphor of spoons. Like, how many spoons do you have in a day to complete something? And, you know, I, as a Jew of color who's queer, you know, like I struggle with this on daily with microaggressions of the yin yang. And I have literally a single spoon to be able to do this live stream. I don't have another spoon to go and fight for fundraising, to advocate for my community so that I can have a paid position here, so that I can continue doing this programming. And it baffles my mind that there's no support for this kind of work. And I'm hoping that whoever is hearing, if they're in a position to help, please do donate. You need to support the people who are doing the work. It's just a thing.
You need to be supported.
Yeah.
You need to be supported. And, you know, that's the thing. It's the negotiation of like, okay. But that's what I was going to say. That's funny is that I let go of my grasp a little bit.
I'm so happy for you.
And a lot of things poured in. I felt fine about. I was like, great, I'm so many other things and I need to open up to all the things that I am. And when I did, actually the Jewish work, I like started getting like asked to do things and appear places, and I didn't have to hunt things down. Like, you know, I didn't have to hunt things down like I used to have to. I used to feel that I had to, you know? of course there's a level to which you want to engage, but it's like, engage, don't, and I'm not saying you, I'm saying me. It's like when I hold the egg and I crush it, then it's crushed and everything spills out and then there's no more egg. But if I hold it lightly, you know, then I can travel with it and do things with it. And same if I'm too loose with it, it's gonna fall on the floor and kerplunk.
That's beautiful. I think I'm going to
This
use
is
that.
all from my Jewish teachings.
I love that. I
Teachings.
mean, you are a teacher.
Moving into that, but a big part of becoming
that's what happens when you're in your 30s, born in the 90s.
You know, but a lot of it is about a lot of it is about like walking the walk myself, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And for you as well, walking the walk. I can speak for me because I know me, but it's like the more that I commit to my creativity, to like the structure that is me, to this body, to like how this and this works, and I trust that that's the path, the unique path that that has been set for me, the more that all the blessings flow, because you know, you teach from experience and from life. And so, and yeah, it is everything in its time as well. And that sucks too.
Right.
But, and these things, we have no idea. I mean, look, it took me 5 years, for example, from the moment that I had the vision for Shabbos Queen, which I had a vision. I was like, it's like real crazy. I was like in the desert in Israel. I was on Birthright, which is like a whole other thing, but it was cute. It was like the LGBTQ rainbow tour. And it was like Saturday morning. We had just had this like Friday night Shabbos where like we were all holding each other like queer Jews. I was 23. Like I didn't know like we even existed. And I was like, wow, I can be queer and Jewish.
Who knew?
Who knew? And I was holding everyone. And then the next morning, I was writing because I'm fine to write on Shabbat. That's a practice that I feel okay about, because that's my creative processing time. It's my Sabbath. And I'm like writing, I'm journaling about my experience. And I look up and there's like a pack of ibex, like 5. That are like where my computer is. They're staring at me.
What? That's so random.
They were like,
were you in Mitzvah Ramon?
I was in
were you in the crater?
Seder Beaucaire.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And so I was in the Negev, and as soon as they looked at me, like I saw who the Shabbos Queen was. I saw her in the desert. I saw that she was like this gorgeous drag queen that was like on this beautiful throne, and that she had these ibex on either side, and that she like walked through the desert, and like all of this light started pouring from her. And I talk about this. I have like a visualization in the event that like spells this out. And then I got back from Israel and I was like, okay, like I think it's a queer Shabbat dinner. Like I had already started writing it down, but then it like I had to shuffle it away because it wasn't the time. And then I was living in Berlin, like, 4 years later, and I was about to leave Berlin to move to New York. And I was like, okay, I'm going to put in a grant application. What's the thing I'm going to apply for? I was like, well, I want to make Shabbos Queen. So let's see. And then I got like a bunch of money. And then I made this piece. And like 4 years later, I'm like touring this piece. Like deep. It's like, this shit is crazy.
I'm so happy for you. For a lot of people who have dreams of creating things, it doesn't always happen. It doesn't always come to fruition. And so I'm happy you got that.
Oh my God. Huh? No, go ahead.
No, I just wanted to say that there's a lovely comment here from Jay, fellow Jay Cutie. My birthright was like that. I found a queer birthright trip from, I think, you are Jay Kesher, to join Jewishness and queerness in a way I never had before. So, I mean, like, yeah. So
Yeah.
of course, if there's anyone tuning in who has any questions that they would like to ask Stuart, Stuart's very open to receiving those questions, and we do have someone moderating the comments, so you can plug those in. But I cut you off. Why don't you go ahead and finish your thought?
No, the only thing that I was going to say, Boo Boo, is that, like, how many ideas do we not get to pursue? You know,
Hundreds.
thousands.
Yeah.
But we need to trust that the ideas that some of them somehow, and we don't know how, start to gain traction. Think about JQD, for example.
Yeah, it's taken 3 years to become a nonprofit.
Oh my gosh. And there's a whole life that is yet waiting to unfold with it.
I can't wait, honestly. I know that I'm probably not going to be the executive director forever. I will forever be the founder, but I really want to see this continue to grow, and I'm working actively on a succession plan because I'm not going to be young and beautiful forever,
Yes, you are. Shut up.
You're so kind.
It's just true. You have that kind of spirit.
No, it's because I'm Asian.
No, it's not just because of that, my love. It's not just because of that.
Yeah, when you were saying how many ideas go and they just don't happen, for me, I wake up one day and I'm like, yes. So my work and my profession is community engagement. And so I identify, oh, there is clearly a gap here that is preventing people from coming together. And I'm like, yes, I'm going to create a new community group that brings all these people together. And this is what I do. And I now have probably 5 or 6 different groups on the go at one time. And my closest friends are not surprised or actually they're more worried when I say, hey, I got a great new idea. And they're like, is it another group? So I do need to rein it in because many of these projects have now become programs, and they're not sustainable if I can't keep running them or if I can't find a way for them to be housed elsewhere. But it's something that I'm learning, is that I can have many ideas, but I also need to pick and choose wisely which ones I want to really continue pursuing.
Yes. And also partnering with the right people.
Oh my God, without a doubt. I think this is one of the most important conversations that, not that the whole conversation hasn't been, but partnership is so true. It can be one of the most beautiful experiences, and it can also be one of the most difficult ones. And I've been in tears when partnerships don't work. And it's
you
not
and
from lack
I
of trying. But it's so hard because it's like, how do they not understand that the goal that we're trying to go for is so much more important?
Because because you're someone who can see in a way that others might not be able to. And not everybody is built to see like that. And those might not be the people that are best apt to
But those are
deliver.
the people who have the positions of power to make change.
Say that once more.
Those are often the people who are in the positions of power that can actually make change.
Well, I think it's also a shift in asking what is power. I mean, of course we need to make money and we need to take care of ourselves, It's also like a timeline question, because it's like, if I expect that this is going to be like this now, then like I'm going to be undoubtedly disappointed. But if I see and can track, it's like counting the Omer every day, tracking just the little growth of the wheat, which is the little growth of that which we planted, and being like, what a miracle, like how beautiful this is. All of these things, by the way, that I'm saying are super idealistic and like optimistic. And it's like, for sure, not always easy to do these things at all. And yet like the work is to go for these things, But so and the other thing that I was going to say is that if we keep giving power to people that, and if we keep calling people in power, then we perpetuate their power.
Oh, for sure. I definitely go around now. An example is um, I had heard about this game called Jewish Geography Zoom Racing. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's
No.
hilarious. So I saw it and I thought, wow, that's fun. Also, what a great way to entertain the Jews during a quarantine. And I was just noticing how very Ashkenazi the entire video frame was. And so I messaged the person who runs it, Michael Hart, who's an absolute doll. And I said, hey, how would you like to have a queer JOC Jew of color on the show from Canada? And I bypassed basically any need to partner with my local Jewish organizations. And in one episode alone, I think something like, what is it, over 1,000 or was it 5,000? I think it actually might have been a crazy amount of people tuned into that episode. And a lot of people are working Jewish professionals and all reached out to me afterwards. And I created a whole new network of people to connect with. And it was not going through official channels by any means. And for me, it just showed me I need to follow the white rabbit.
Yeah. And listen, this is also like such a beautiful time to really be like, this is who I am, and I am different and I am unique. And like, you know, I think especially I think like people in Jewish community are just waking up to the fact that like, oh, fuck, we were really like, we were really drinking the Kool-Aid in the 60s and 50s, like doing the whole kind of like synagogue is church thing and like, let's stop learning Yiddish and let's stop like honoring where we come from. I say that obviously from an Ashkenazi perspective, but like, oh, like we have to fit into kind of like a unionized, like enlightenment based kind of like Jewish assimilation. You know, we're really moving out of assimilation. And I think, you know, there's two ways to look at how individualism exists now. There's the way to look at it. It's funny, I was laughing about Ayn Rand earlier today. There's the way to look at it where like everybody's being a selfish asshole and people only care about themselves. Or there's a way to look at it where like everybody's like, oh, like, wow, like I'm different and I have something to contribute as I am. And like both can be appreciated. And so like that's worth doing, you know? And forgive me if I'm like repeating myself, but just in a lot of different ways. But I feel like the answer is always like, and this is kind of how Yenta works as well. Like you're perfect in your essence, you know? And like you are perfect. You're amazing. You're gorgeous.
So are you.
And like I believe it more now, you know? Yeah. And like there are always going to be repairs and ways that we kind of have to like fix our karma or, you know, return, if you will, to our bodies and like, yeah, to our bodies and like what we're meant to do in this world. There's always a returning. That's karma, I think. But you can't say it enough because it's always just about that. It's like, you know, and relationships. It's like, what are the relationships that you're going to have in your life? Professionally, romantically, etc., that are all going to have different resonances, but are going to feel like you get to be you. And you don't have to sacrifice any of who you are. Of course, different relationships bring, as I said, with the resonance, bring different aspects out of you. But like, you never have to be small, ever.
You got to be true to yourself. 100%. You might be interested in tuning in for our candle on Sunday. We have 2 matchmakers coming in.
Oh, right. Danielle is coming, right?
So
Danielle.
Danielle is the Jewish matchmaker. Then we have Kara, who's a national LGBTQ matchmaker. And so the two of them are going to talk about how to help you make your match.
That's funny. So Yenta talked with Danielle earlier in quarantine.
Right? Oh my gosh, tell me more. How did that go?
It was great. I mean, she was just really supportive and she wanted to hear Yenta's perspective on things. And Yenta started with a second Yenta, and Yenta is becoming more and more solo. She's my baby. And so I'm like, I am coming into myself personally. So I'm like, I can hold space as her, and I need to do that work. So there were like, you know, between you and I guess everybody listening, there was a level to which I was like still finding my footing, or Yenta was, but like she had good stuff to say, you know, and Danielle was very supportive of Yenta to do so. And then I had another conversation, or Yenta had another conversation with Ross, who's also at Tribe 12, which I think
no way, that's great.
It was even more sparkling.
That's wonderful. Yeah,
but
Ross
yeah,
is actually going to be helping out with our moderating. So I actually do know this person.
Good. Ross is such a cutie. What a mensch. Yeah. But yeah, it was, you know, I think it's really funny because I also had another like live talk this week, and I was talking with one of my best friends from my teenage years, who is now, she just started a matchmaking company, but was like a big wig in the what is it called? 3 day rule.
Well, that's where Kara's from.
Oh my God, that's amazing. She probably knows Elisa.
Probably. Yeah, Elisa's the one who started it. I'm telling you, I'm hopeful.
You're hopeful for what? For yourself?
I mean, maybe.
Ah! Girl, here's my transmission from Yenta, which is what I talked about with
I'm ready.
With Elisa. Live your life and they will come.
That's all I needed to hear.
Good.
I'm going to live my life and they will come.
Live your life and they will come. And you know, the more that you like, and you personally can always kiki with me, always. And if you have more questions about this stream and imagery work, great, we'll talk about that too. But like,
I'm definitely taking that offline with you because I want, my mom's like, give the number to Carmel, the matchmaker.
Oh my gosh. But you know, I've had a vision of who my partner will be. Like I know who they are. I don't know them yet in like this world, but I know who they are, and I know they're not here yet, but I know that they're coming.
Are they born yet?
Oh yeah, they're for sure. He's around my age. He's cute. He's really cute.
Love it.
But also identifying how you want to feel in a relationship, you know? And like, girl, you gotta be loved.
Everyone needs to be loved and love in return.
But it's like, if you are love, you love will come, you know? And again, everything in its time as well. And in the meantime, enjoy who you meet, enjoy who you date, and go out on dates, because you never know how the people that you are moved to meet and to like be on dates with are going to transform your life. Maybe they won't become your romantic partners, but you could have one date with someone like, and it's really inspiring, but it's like not a match. And then like 10 years later, you see that person and you're like, oh, we had that amazing date. We had a really good connection. And then they're like, and you're like, yeah, I'm doing well. Like, I need a job. And they're like, oh, I have the job for you. And then they connect you to someone who they connect you to the job of your dreams. I don't know. This is an example. right?
Right. You have no idea what role people will play at a later time. I totally believe in that.
Or in that moment, you
Mhm.
know, you have no idea what you're going to learn from being with that person.
Well, thank you.
You're
Wise words from Yenta via Stuart.
from Yenta via Stewart. I know. And what's really funny about Yenta is that she like, I mean, similar to me, she just gets it and she serves it. And that, for example, is like something that I've definitely learned this year is like how to hear. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Which I bet you can do too.
Yes, yes. It
You get
requires extra energy, though.
say what?
It
Yeah.
requires extra energy. And I feel like a lot of people, including myself, are pretty low energy these days. I think the pandemic is getting to a lot of us. I was like super go, go, go from March, kicking into action right away, and really helping my communities and my various different groups and the different hats that I wear to pull through and get to it. But like everyone, it's not sustainable. You do crash eventually. And so now I'm picking up the pieces and waiting for that vaccine and trying
I
to,
mean, we're all waiting for the
yeah.
vaccine, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
How have you been this is what I was gonna ask. Are you getting enough sleep?
No. I used to be able to sleep so well, like a rock, but now I'm up in the middle of the night at 3, sometimes 4. Yeah, it's changed. It's changed a
Well,
lot.
something that will help is when you set in that intention for your dreams when you wake up. I undoubtedly usually wake up at 5 a.m. and I'm like trying to see on my phone while I'm typing out what happened on my dream. That will give you an activity that will exhaust you to bring you back to sleep.
I love it. It's like counting sheep, but more productive because I have something at the end.
Yeah, and it's like the
Mm.
a view into inside of like what's actually going on for you right now. And
Okay.
so, but yeah, the sleep thing, the rest, I mean, you're going for everyone who's here right now that doesn't know Carmel, you are going into the water and taking your dips with the ice cold water. This is good.
It's wonderful. It has been such an amazing weekly ritual. I do it just before the Shabbos at around 3 o'clock with some friends. And we've been doing it consistently for a few months now. This is why my hair is still wet. Um, and in Vancouver, it's winter, and there's snow on the mountains, and we go in and we stand for a while. Some of us dip in right away. For me, it takes a little bit of coercion and peer pressure, but eventually I do dive in. And for me, I could have the worst week. I could be in a really foul mood, but when I go in, survival mode kicks in. You're just trying to survive this wall of cold that comes at you, and it's definitely mind over matter. And then afterwards I'm deliriously happy and very upbeat, and I feel the tingle in my body for hours to come, and I'm still riding on that wave. So it's really been helping, and it's free.
So much, so much like opportunities to come back to wholeness are.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm very lucky. The mountains and the water are just a few blocks
Oh my
away.
God. And that is beautiful. The moment
Yeah.
that you said that, I just was like,
You got to move to Vancouver. In a post-COVID world, I have a guest room. You're going to come. You're going to hang with me. That's what's going to happen.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Davidica's coming with us.
Obviously.
I'll come by myself and then Davidica will come and then I can leave so you guys can have time. Do you love that I already like planned that?
I love it. It's already pre-planned. I'm into it.
But, something that I can suggest is whenever you feel that you're really depleted, just close your eyes for a moment, connect to your breath, and remember what it feels like and see yourself plunging into the waters, and that whatever you need to cleanse is recycled into the waters and cleaned by the waters, and then come out and see yourself refreshed and renewed. And
It's brilliant. So I can do that in the middle of the week.
you can do that multiple times a day.
That's great. Because I feel like we're all waiting for Friday to come to do that, to unleash everything in this one dip.
And like that's also, I will say that there is a quality to which the Shabbat, like Shabbat and Shabbos and what's another, Sabbat? Yes. That is our like real time to like take in a transition to rest. However, I mean, that's what's beautiful about the commandment to pray 3 times a day, because 3 times a day you have to take a moment to connect to the divine. And so it's like, and you're always reminded, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, like, you know, the divine is one and one is all. There is always this reminder that is true, that there is a call to come back to wholeness, to see that like what I see and what is in front of me is not all there is, you know, and that I can consistently be refreshed and cleansed by knowing that, you know, I can always plunge into the waters. And like the great return to, you could say the mother, but you could also just say to wholeness.
I think that's a beautiful way to end, and we just have the tiniest little bit of flame left.
Gorgeous.
Stuart, it has been an absolute pleasure getting to know you both before we go live and then while we were live. It's been a great hour and a bit with you.
For me too.
Is there anything that you'd like to add before I conclude?
You can find me on all the platforms, and if this was it, this is also beautiful, and I hope you have the most restful Shabbat. I hope you do, my dear, and I hope everyone who's listening and Chag Sameach Hanukkah feel like, you know, I think the thing that, as I was saying before, that I'm really excited about is that each and every night we're reminded of the miracle that like is expanding on itself, that it continues to grow and grow and grow. So that helps you through this holiday, beautiful. And if you have your own image, beautiful too.
Oh my gosh, I love you. Well, many thanks to Stuart B Meyers for joining us today for Candle 2 of Hanukkah Hotties with J Cutie and Tribe 12. Be sure to follow Stuart's work. We already said stuartbmeyers.com. It's also the same for his social media handle on Instagram. Thank you to J Cutie Vancouver and Tribe 12 in Philadelphia. You can also follow us on social media, and the links will be in the chat. Next up, we have Candle 3 with, we welcome back Divinica, speaking of the devil, or the angel, or the queen from Tribe 12, and with Galia Goodell, the LGBTQ Initiative Program Manager at Jewish Family and Children's Service of Greater Philadelphia. That's at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and for all you folks on the East Coast, that's 2:30 p.m. Looking forward to having you join us. Happy Hanukkah, Chag Hanukkah Sameach, and Shabbat Shalom.